Hi, my name's Phil. I'd like to come out politics, and MAGA is still in a frenzy over the killing of Charlie Kirk, and conspiracy theories abound. Some of them are being deliberately created in order to hide the fact it was a MAGA on MAGA murder, but some seem a little more baffling at first sight. Why are some MAGA influencers making up conspiracy theories attacking their own, specifically Kirk's widow? Well, I have an idea. But first, for daily news and politics, please click the subscribe button to stay notified. So, that there are wild accusations being traded between MAGA influencers should come as no surprise. Candice Owens, for example, millions of followers on social media, has thrown out some veiled threats towards anyone, and by anyone she means other MAGA, attempting to muscle in on Kirk's vacant niche within the movement, as well as suggesting that his murder was an Israeli plot. Because despite America's over-the-top support for Israel, it's worth remembering there's a lot of anti-Semites on the far right. Pew pew Jewish space lasers. But the general infighting is sort of understandable. You're talking about people who make a lot of money tempting millions of people down conspiracy rabbit holes. Some of the grifters may even believe their evidence-light theories. You're talking about a movement who are basically trained to see conspiracies everywhere, enemies everywhere. So of course they're going to be suspicious even of one another. No honour amongst the batshit crazy. But one emerging conspiracy theory seems a little more baffling, trying to suggest that Kirk's widow is a child trafficking Mossad agent. Being clear, there is zero evidence for this, by the way. As far as it's possible to tell, someone has literally just made it up. But the question is why? Well, major influencers picking fights with other major influencers could just be a turf war. Charlie Kirk was a big player in MAGA circles. He had a large following. His absence leaves a bit of a power vacuum within the structure. Of course, others are going to be keen to move in. But is Erica Kirk really a threat to them? Is she even competing in any serious way for the niche left by her husband? Perhaps. I do think the turf war is real. But then I had another thought. So when you look at some of the people pushing this specific, this spaceless conspiracy theory about her, they seem to be big on Telegram, the Russian-based social media platform, which makes you wonder if this is ultimately coming from the Kremlin. And you may think, well, but doesn't Putin like MAGA? No, he doesn't. He approves of MAGA being in charge, not because he sees them as allies, but because he sees them as idiots. America is his rival. Putin would see the United States collapse into anarchy if he could. Yes, he would welcome an easing of sanctions, but his financial ties are with China, India and elsewhere. The recent long-term economic partnership agreed with China is way more to Putin's taste than anything even Trump can offer him. Putin doesn't need MAGA to be strong. He needs America to be divided. So maybe these attacks on Erica Kirk are all part of making sure that even MAGA remain divided amongst themselves. And then you think, but wouldn't that risk their downfall and the emergence of a more rational US government? I don't think so. First of all, Project 2025 ensures that even if MAGA melted away in the next few years and a serious president took over by the end of the decade, they would be powerless to put right everything which Trump is currently destroying. They're too far behind now. Then there's the geopolitics. America has pulled a lot of soft power in the form of international aid, humanitarian funding and so on. Trump is also creating a lot of friction even with America's closest allies. They were quick to forgive and forget when Biden beat Trump, but they're not going to be complacent a second time. Permanent damage has already been done to America's stand in the world, no matter what happens. And Trump still has 3 more years to do further damage, again, no matter what happens in any elections. Besides, the MAGA project isn't going to unravel because the anti-Israeli MAGA faction are having a pop at a minor figure in the pro-Israeli faction. But it is one of the biggest sources of division within their movement, so it's a good one for any outside actor to poke at. Putin isn't trying to sculpt an America that is a strong ally for him. He's trying to destroy it, and that makes his job easier. He doesn't need to steer the US government towards any particular objective. He doesn't really care what the United States does specifically, as long as whatever it does is stupid as hell. Turn on the world, turn on your own people, pick fights even within your own tribe. All music to the ears of the Kremlin. What a joy it must be for them that the US government is run by and heavily influenced by those who are some of the most paranoid people the country has to offer. But let me know what you think in the comments below. For more content, you could subscribe to the channel or even join for access to streams and behind the scenes updates. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.